Imagine this. You finally retire at 65. You survive decades of meetings that should have been emails. You tolerate managers who discovered synergy after one leadership seminar. You spend 40 years pretending to care about quarterly targets while your soul quietly files a resignation letter. And then, retirement arrives. You sit down, take a deep breath, smile peacefully. And your body says, "Congratulations, you still have 35 more years left." Welcome to the longevity economy, the strange new world where people aren't just living longer, they're living long enough to need a second retirement plan for their retirement plan. 100 years old, that used to sound mythical. Now it sounds expensive. Medical advances, healthier lifestyles, AI-driven healthcare, and better nutrition are quietly changing human life expectancy. And for the first time in history, millions of ordinary people may realistically live into their late 90s or even beyond 100. Sounds wonderful, right? Well, it also means your retirement savings now have to survive longer than some empires. Because the old retirement model was built around one simple assumption. You work, you retire, and then you don't live that long afterward. Oops! Turns out humanity accidentally upgraded the hardware without updating the financial software. Lesson number 1. Retirement planning is no longer about reaching 65. It's about funding a possible 30 to 40 years of life afterward. That changes everything. Saving late becomes dangerous, ignoring health becomes expensive, and depending entirely on governments or pensions starts feeling like trusting a Wi-Fi signal during a thunderstorm. The earlier people prepare, the more freedom they buy later. And now entire economies are trying to figure out what happens when millions of people stop working but continue existing for another 30 decades. That's the longevity economy. An economic shift driven by older populations living longer, spending longer, traveling longer, and sometimes working longer because inflation ate their retirement dreams alive. But here's the interesting part. The old image of retirement is dying. You know the one, sitting quietly in a chair, watching daytime television, slowly becoming one with the furniture. That version of retirement is disappearing. Today's retirees are starting businesses, learning new technology, building YouTube channels, traveling the world, going back to university, becoming fitness influencers at 72. Meanwhile, some 30-year-olds need a nap after replying to 3 emails. The idea of old age is changing fast, and there's another lesson hidden inside that. Aging does not automatically mean irrelevance. For decades, society trained people to believe life peaks somewhere around middle age. After that, you quietly fade into the background while younger workers explain social media trends to you using unnecessary hand gestures. But experience has value. Many retirees succeed because they finally stop chasing status and start chasing meaning. Ironically, some people become more financially successful after retirement age because they finally have the confidence to stop caring about corporate approval. And companies know it. Entire industries are now targeting older adults, health technology, financial services, travel, wellness, AI assistance, smart homes, robotics, longevity medicine, and even dating apps for seniors. Because when people live longer, they don't stop being consumers. In fact, older generations now control enormous amounts of wealth globally, which means the future economy may revolve less around youth culture and more around active aging. Think about that. For decades, society treated aging like a slow decline. Now, businesses are treating it like a growth market. Not because they suddenly became compassionate, because they followed the money. And honestly, nothing motivates innovation faster than corporations realizing 80-year-olds still have disposable income. Here's another important takeaway. Your health may become your greatest financial asset, because living longer without health is not freedom, it's maintenance. The future may belong to people who invest in fitness, mobility, sleep, mental health, and prevention long before retirement begins. In the longevity economy, a healthy 75-year-old may have more opportunities than an exhausted 45-year-old running entirely on caffeine and suppressed rage. But living longer creates another problem nobody likes talking about: purpose. Because if retirement lasts 30 or 40 years, what exactly are you supposed to do the whole time? Golf? Gardening? Arguing with strangers on Facebook about parking spaces? Humans weren't designed to simply stop. Work may stress people out, but purpose keeps people alive. Many retirees discover something surprising. They didn't just lose a paycheck when they retired. They lost structure, identity, routine, social connection, momentum. That's why the future of retirement may not be about escaping work completely, but redesigning life itself. Maybe people will work part-time into their 70s. Maybe careers will happen in phases instead of a one continuous grind. Maybe retirement becomes less of an ending and more like multiple reinventions. Because if you live to 100, you probably can't spend 35 years waiting for the weekend. And maybe that's the biggest lesson of all. People need something to wake up for. Not just entertainment, not just comfort, not just another streaming subscription asking if you're still watching while judging your life choices at 2 a.m. Purpose. The people who age best often continue learning, creating, teaching, building, mentoring, or contributing in some meaningful way. Retirement should remove unnecessary stress, not remove your reason for existing. The longevity economy could completely redefine what it means to age. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and prepare emotionally for the possibility that your retirement may last longer than your career.